Hello, this is the Bluthner Style 7 grand piano at 6'3" long, made in 1904. Just coming to stock. We've done some small bits of work already, but just want to see what other work we need to do to refine it. First of all, looking at the keys here, we can see they are ivory keys and very good condition indeed. Just one very slight chip as we move along here. We can disguise that in such a way that you'll hardly notice it was there. And there's the Bluthner name, characteristic of that period of Bluthners. There's quite a few of them imported into the UK, worked together later on with a firm called Welmar importing them, and we also sell Welmars as one of our preferred English makes of piano. You can see the rosewood here. This is a rosewood case, and Bluthner rosewood is second to none really, just very, very beautiful. This is in good condition on the outside, though we could repolish the piano. If we look at the sides of the piano, you can see it will certainly repolish very, very beautifully. We'll look right around the piano so you can get some idea. It's integral, in other words, there's nothing sort of that stands out. There's little bits there that we can make good anyway without having to repolish. Just looking around the back. We'll look in the inside in a minute. Sorry, I'm not doing very well here. There we are. That definitely is faded a bit. So, well, either you can buy the piano as it is, it looks reasonable, or we can repolish the piano. Obviously, it'll be a lot more expensive. Repolishing takes us 70 hours. I'll show you an example of a repolished Bluthner piano to compare it with. Here's a Bluthner. I featured this on another video recently. We're restoring for a client, and there's the side of this Bluthner piano. So it's very figured. The one that we showed, that I'm assessing, is not as figured as this. By figured I mean it's very patterned, so you can see a huge contrast here. There's a video of this piano if you're interested in looking at it. There's the long side of this piano. So they do repolish. This is natural finish, by the way. This is just stripped and then without adding any colour. That's how it comes out. So back to the one we're assessing. This is 1904. The other one was 1899. The earlier ones tend to be more figured. This is, if it was repolished, you'll see from the other one before it was repolished, it really didn't look. You couldn't see the grain hardly at all. And if this was repolished, this would certainly show huge contrast in grain. But it's a reasonable looking piano as it is anyway. You can see that it is a bit on the scratch side, but not a disaster. You can see some of the figuring here on the top of the fall, and that's an indication of what the rest of the piano could look like if it was repolished. Now we can see that the piano was made and sold originally in 1904, but Harrods restored it and sold it again by this number. We can date that as being about 1945. So Harrods sold a lot of reconditioned pianos just at that period of time. In fact, it seems to me from the numbers that we've seen that they sold more older restored pianos than they sold new pianos. Looking at the piano in general, the frame is extremely good condition, and the felts too, so presumably Harrods worked on all of that when they had the piano in. I'm not quite sure what work they did do. I had a look at the tuning block just to see if they'd replaced that. You can see we've taken the screws out here. The tuning block's the wood under here, just to see if they'd replaced it. Now here we can see the tuning block, rest plank we call it in English, in England, and you can see here that it's black. That normally means that's how Bluthner did it themselves, so unless Harrods decided to go over it in black after they'd done it, then that would be original. If you've in the trade like to comment, please let me know what you think. Just looking down here on the patent action, by the way, Bluthner's up until about 1925 had patent actions in the pianos, and that's this L-shaped spring, totally different from all other piano actions. There's a Richard Lipgram with a normal roller action, and you can see at the front how different it looks with these capstans under here, and these are like Dolly's kind of like capstans as well, shaped-wise, and this normal set-off on a roller action. There's a normal grand piano action with this what we call repetition lever. The Bluthner style is totally different. So there's a system on the Bluthner patent action which they carried on doing different to everyone else and made it were very, very popular indeed, and certainly they are as reliable as a normal, what we call a piano action on everyone else's piano. And this one's set up perfectly actually, so as we press it, it catches at the back there, and if we release, the spring just brings it slightly upwards. This spring here needs tensioning to make the hammer not fall back downwards but stay in the same position. If you're in the trade and like to comment on regulating that, I'm sure it would be very useful, because there's certain different opinion on that. But we also like to regulate it with a bit of aftertouch, because then it feels more normal, as it were. Sorry, I'm going on a bit about that, but if you're in the trade, you probably have some comments to make on that. I do things a bit backwards here, because normally I talk about tightness of tuning pins first, but they are tight, which is obviously extremely important. Now touch weight as well, that's really important. It's going down, this is 48 grams, and going down reasonably clearly with that, so it's probably about 46 grams. That's 48, so those are similar. This one's lighter, that one I think I measured out at about 44, so that's lighter, that's just about to go down, and that one there is just about to go down. So 48, it's ideal really, an ideal weight. Now the tone, and going back, this is the one that we're assessing. To my mind, there's nothing that surpasses the tone of a Bluthner grand piano, and I know many technicians agree. They're just such a joy to tune. They stay very well in tune. By the way, we haven't tuned this since it came in, and it was already at a 441, or just above that, which is ideal. So, very encouraged by that. And just has a beautiful touch and tone. The Bluthner patent action has a wonderful touch too, by the way. If you're not used to it, it's worth trying. A lot of people are fans of it. Very fruity sound. This is the client's Bluthner. Slightly out of tune. I think we pitch raised this one. And again, a very beautiful tone, both rich, very warm. And back to the one we're assessing. There is unsurpassed bass really. This is a Broadwood. Very good piano. The best style of Broadwood you can get, I think this one is a barless Broadwood. This is a much shorter Ibach piano. Very, very good for the length of the piano. It's only 5 foot long. And a Richard Litt. Again, these are all exceptional makes that we've chosen. I don't have any modern pianos here in the workshop area. I'm sorry about that. I suppose we could compare it with the Yamaha U3 upright. Of course, much shorter strings. Here's a euphoric upright, 133. And back to the Bluthner. Of course, it's a much longer piano, but Bluthners are intrinsically very rich, warm sounding pianos. So that's a Bluthner Star 7 grand piano, 6 foot 3 inches long, made in 1904. One of the pianos that we're really trying to source, because they're just such a wonderful tone. But everywhere you play it, it's just such an even tone. Very stable pianos, tuning wise too. Just as stable, if not more so, than a modern piano. It makes you want to play softly. It's a very delicate sounding piano. It's not so much for strident playing. Although this one's giving a very good, doing very well with strident playing. It does encourage you to play softly, just the way it is, the tone. The patent action feels really beautiful, and it's not surprising that Bluthner's continued it while others were making normal roller actions, and they continued right through to about 1925. The touch, by the way, is very, very responsive, and it'll be even more so once we've done some fine regulation. Thank you very much for listening.